Comey is a leaker, and he's a liar. And not only on this stuff, he's been leaking for years. He is guilty of crimes. And if we had a Justice Department that was doing their job, instead of spending
it's your Justice Department, Mr. President.
Because of the fact that they have this witch hunt going on with people in the Justice Department that shouldn't be there, I've taken the position, and I don't have to take this position, and maybe I'll change, that I will not be involved with the Justice Department. I will wait till this is over. The Democrats hated Comey more than any human being. He actually did Hillary Clinton a big favor because she should be in jail.
It's just unbelievable. President Trump continues to publicly rail against Hillary Clinton. Bad timing, Mr. President. Should talk to your daughter and James Comey. And now the New York Times is reporting that Donald Trump pressured top law enforcement officials, including the acting attorney general, about investigating Hillary Clinton, his last political rival, and James Comey, former FBI director. Two people tell the Times that President Trump told then White House counsel Don McGahn in the spring that he wanted to order the Justice Department to prosecute former FBI director James Comey and Hillary Clinton. The sources say McGahn told the president he didn't have that authority. And while he could request an investigation, it would also prompt abuse of power accusations. With us now, one of the reporters who broke the story, Michael Schmidt of the New York Times. Michael, big headline, a big story. What's the importance of it?
The importance of it is the insight into how Donald Trump sees the Justice Department. He sees the Justice Department as a tool, essentially, to figure out the political problems that he has. He believes and has said privately and at times publicly that the Attorney General is someone that should work for him, that should be loyal to him, that should put his interests first. And this is sort of along those lines. It's about using the Justice Department to fix political problems that he has. Now, Trump ultimately does not order the Justice Department to prosecute these folks. He did not have that authority, and he did not ask them, at least that we know of, through the White House counsel to investigate them. But he was warned about the problems of this and that there could be significant blowback. And the interesting thing about how this all fits together is that Trump did this. He explored the idea of having the Justice Department do this at a time that he was under investigation for obstruction of justice. So he's being looked at for his dealings with the Justice Department about whether he has essentially abused his power, and he continues to talk about those things.
Yeah, John Podhoretz, it's attacking the attackers and investigating the investigators. It sounds like something that Devin Nunes has been doing on the Hill.
So, Michael, my question to you is, I think Trump is operating on the basis that a lot of conservatives believed during the Obama years that Eric Holder, the Attorney General, was fundamentally serving as Obama's wingman at DOJ and using his powers to protect President Obama. I mean, I think Trump said this repeatedly on the campaign trail in 2015 and 2016 and in debates and that sort of thing. And though he said it in criticism of Holder and Obama, he seems to believe that this idea of how it works should be the model that he should get to follow. Do I have that right?
Yeah, and he has said this privately in the White House several times. He says that Obama had Holder, JFK had RFK, and then he says, "Where is my Roy Cohn?" and referring to the longtime New York lawyer who was essentially his fixer. And that's what he wants at the top of the Justice Department. He moved right after the election to get rid of Jeff Sessions because he thought that he was not an attorney general that put his interests first. He blamed Jeff Sessions for recusing himself from the Russia investigation. That was something that he never got over. He thought that was disloyal. The essential question of the Trump presidency, one of the questions here, is that why is it that Donald Trump wants so much loyalty from these folks that are atop his law enforcement agencies? Is he simply someone who throughout his life is just prizes loyalty, puts a high price on it, thinks it's really important, or is there something more there? Is he trying to protect himself from something? But time and time again, he wants these folks at the top of the Justice Department, just like his Attorney General right now, a political ally, someone he feels comfortable with, who will be there. Why is it that he wants people like that there?
Hey, Michael, it's Jonathan Lemire. Two questions for you. When White House counsel McGahn sort of warned the president not to do this, and he put together a memo, could you walk us through the reasoning behind why McGahn told him not to? But more than that, McGahn sort of represented a guardrail, and we hear that a lot in this administration, that those guardrails are falling away. He's not in that position anymore. His replacement hasn't officially taken over. More than that, the acting Attorney General, Mr. Whitaker, is someone the president views as an ally who has very skeptical views of the Mueller probe. What guardrails are going to exist to stop the president from doing something like this going forward?
So what the White House counsel's office did is they wrote this memo about the problems that could come of having the president ask the Justice Department to investigate things. And they said, look, you do have the authority to say to the Justice Department, hey, will you look at this issue? Will you investigate this thing? Will you look at this problem? But they said that is not a great idea because you could get into all sorts of problems. Congress could come after you. Judges could throw out charges. You could be impeached. Voters could vote you out of office and get rid of you. You need to stay away from this. This is a bad idea. Now, this has not stopped the president from trying to weigh in on criminal investigations. McGahn, the White House counsel who left about a month ago, was seen as a guardrail. He was seen as someone that stopped the president from doing a lot of the things that he wanted to do that may have been illegal or unethical or politically problematic. Famously, McGahn was not able to stop Trump from firing the FBI director, Jim Comey. That went forward. McGahn essentially oversaw the process of how they were going to explain that to the public. But since then, McGahn was much more insistent with Trump and was able to sort of curtail his desires to do things that could get him into trouble. At the same time, along the way, McGahn racked up a lot of things that he stopped the president from doing.
He certainly did. Michael Schmidt, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Great reporting again. And it is important to remember the people that have acted as guardrails. Don McGahn acted as a guardrail time and time again. You have the Director of National Intelligence, who's acted as a guardrail. You have the CIA Director, past and present, acting as guardrails. The FBI Director. It came out in this piece that Michael wrote that Donald Trump's very disappointed that Christopher Wray is, quote, weak. Well, his definition of weak is someone who will not be a hatchet man for him like Roy Cohn. Time and again, there have been people around this president who have acted as guardrails. So let's hope the elected Republicans in the House and the Senate will start perhaps following their examples and putting their country ahead of their political party. Still ahead, a federal judge deals another blow to President Trump's immigration agenda. We have new reporting about how the courts are also providing resistance, a formidable obstacle to the administration's hardline policies. And that resistance isn't resistance against Donald Trump. It's a resistance for those moving against constitutional norms. Morning Joe will be right back.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.